My name is Thomas Fry. I started Silexx back in 2008. Silexx is a company that focuses on what we call execution and order management systems. What that means is that a professional market participant, that could be a hedge fund, a professional advisor, a sell-side desk or a bank, uses the software to send orders to the market, to analyze their portfolio and positions, to perform risk management on their positions and perform analyticals. I pondered if I should sell every now and then, but never seriously considered it. And when I ultimately chose the Benchmark team, I noticed that there was an uptick in mergers. I felt like the market was running hot, and we took advantage of that.
Thomas Fry came to Benchmark as a business owner who'd been very successful in designing systems that helped his clients exploit market opportunities. So it should be no surprise that when he became aware of the current situation with global M&A markets, he saw an opportunity for himself to seize, and he came to Benchmark to help him with that.
I was approached by multiple M&A firms in the past, and it just never felt right. It felt like it was somebody who would just try to inject themselves in the value chains and get a disproportionate amount of proceeds out of something that we spent a long time building. It felt different with Benchmark. I felt they were genuinely interested in the company. They weren't pushy. They had the right things to say. The people I worked with were great. They had professional appearance. So I really felt comfortable engaging and working with Benchmark. The quickest way to learn is to learn from a professional. You can hire an advisor or guidance, and they'll help you to get started in this process much more easily than trying to figure out your own and going through all the mistakes somebody else already took. You need to draw on the guidance and experience of somebody who's done that before and has been there.
Thomas is smart enough to engage Benchmark to do things that are not within his knowledge base. He's a very high functioning individual. A lot of folks that we work with are, but what they don't know how to do is execute on a transaction. And I think that's where Benchmark comes in.
The company that acquired us is Cboe Global Markets. It's the largest US options exchange, trading US listed options and derivatives in a well-respected exchange in the marketplace.
Getting a company as big as the Chicago Board of Options to take an interest in a company with 9 employees like Silexx may seem like a difficult task. But when you have the explosive technology that Thomas developed and the power that Benchmark International brings to the table, it's not that difficult to make that opportunity a reality. But once the process reached a stage where we were fairly certain that this buyer, a real American institution, was going to be the buyer for Silexx, we prepared to mobilize the resources of our central support team behind Dara. He was going up against the chief strategy officer of a Fortune 200 company whose last transaction was a $4 billion deal. This is a company with $5 billion in assets, a market cap of $14 billion, revenue over $2 billion a year, and they were bringing with them some of the leading players in law and accounting when it comes to global M&A.
Benchmark fared very well going head-to-head against the executives of such a large organization. They knew the right things to say, they knew when to back off, they knew when to poke a little bit. Benchmark knew how to keep a collegial tone and keep things moving forward.
The Benchmark International team executed flawlessly. They drove the transaction and accomplished all of the client's objectives. That's part of the way Benchmark International is built. This team, like all our teams around the globe, is built to stand toe-to-toe against any acquirer, even a Fortune 200 company like the Chicago Board of Options. When your teams are closing several deals a month, and you build up a team with 10 specialists, you have the resources necessary and the skill set to tackle any obstacle the M&A world can throw at you.
Benchmark made me feel like they've done this before, they knew how to approach it, and that's part of the reason why I chose an advisor to this deal, because if you go at it yourself, you don't know what you're up against, but now you have a sounding board that you can run things by and get some perspective from. And ultimately, I'm very happy I went through that process.
One step in the process is finding the buyer. That's probably 20% of the role. The other 80% is getting the deal done. And I would advise anyone out there who is considering a transaction, even if they have someone in mind as a buyer, even if they have an offer in hand, the actual work to get a deal done is fairly nuanced, and you really require the efforts of experienced advisors.
This is what truly distinguishes Benchmark International from the other brokers that our middle market and lower middle market clients might have access to. Because of our unique model and decades of experience, Benchmark International can bring this top shelf service to businesses of almost any size, and that's what makes us truly unique.
If you consider going through this process, you should definitely try to assemble an all-star team. I think you will find that you have a very professional team to work with at Benchmark.